So what happened with this bridge? Pretty wild, right? I noticed that there seems to be a rush to judgment. Oh, this is just an accident and everything's fine here. Well, I'm not so sure about that. Aren't we supposed to have an open mind, right? The NTSB, it'll take them a year and a half before they really know what happened. So many witnesses haven't been interviewed. I understand that there's a great big black box, a data recorder in the ship that hasn't been evaluated yet. So anything's possible, really. It's just weird. That whole bridge went down, the thing apparently losing power. So first, you've probably seen this video a million times, but we are going to show it to you again. Just devastating, right? There it goes. It wasn't really going that fast, but it's an awfully heavy ship. And down goes the Francis Scott Key Bridge in the middle of Baltimore Harbor. That's going to screw up logistics potentially for the entire country for a while. Now, we also have another version of this video from another angle, all right? You probably haven't seen this yet. Take a look and turn up the volume.
Yo! What the? What? What the? No shot! No shot!
Pretty interesting, right? Were they just having a picnic there? I mean, taking a video of a random ship going through? Well, it's more evidence. So here's the aftermath. And it's devastating. And a number of people lost their lives, and that's awful. It really is bad. You never know when you're going to leave this earth, right? So that's tough. That's tough. Of course, like he does, Joe Biden, in the midst of a tragedy, tries to make it all about him. He came out and made a big statement and did a little fake bragging. Check it out.
At about 1:30, container ship struck the Francis Scott Key Bridge, which I've been over many, many times commuting from the state of Delaware, either on a train or by car.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, no train tracks are on that bridge, all right? I've been on the bridge before. Everybody who lives in the East Coast of America has been on that bridge before. That's Joe. He's a little bit goofy, has been his entire career, all the way back to 1973, right? He is the same guy. He stopped growing at the age of 29, intellectually, emotionally. He is the same guy today as he was in 1972, boasting about, well, how people like him, shaking people's hands, smiling, and handing out money that isn't his. At a moment like this, where our infrastructure is crumbling, wouldn't it be great to have a genuine builder, somebody who comes with a skill to the White House, right? Donald Trump. That's what really set him apart from the swamp, why he didn't fit in there. They're all parasites. He actually knows how to create. They couldn't figure that guy out for that and a lot of other reasons. And they'll have a chance, though, to get reacquainted with him, I am sure. Overall, though, a lot of things seem to be going wrong in America. I mean, beyond the transgender mess and everything else, but, you know, windows falling off of planes, bizarre train accidents, airplanes losing altitude suddenly, just strange things. And who do we turn to at moments like this, right? The government? Well, the government stinks. There are about maybe 535 elected members, including the Senate, about 10 who I think really know what they're doing and who are responsible. Most of them are just trying to become social media superstars and trying to figure out how to get a cable TV news show. You could do what I did and start in a very small town 25 years ago and take your chances, or you can get elected to Congress and then just parlay that into money. More on that in a little bit. Secretary Pete Buttigieg, his ineffectiveness really on display. Never should be, what is he again? Yeah, the Transportation Secretary. You kind of want a guy who knows stuff, but he doesn't. He's young, he's gay. Why do I mention that? Because that's how he got the job. It is. It doesn't matter to me, but it matters to the wokesters out there. And like Joe Biden, he made it about himself a little bit.
This is no ordinary bridge. This is one of the cathedrals of American infrastructure. It has been part of the skyline of this region for longer than many of us have been alive.
All right, see, that's just a weird flex for him. The bridge is actually not that old by bridge standards. It's actually kind of new by bridge standards, built in 1977. What Pete is doing there, he's reminding everybody how young he is. He was born in like 1984, I believe. He's 40. So that's just a politician being a politician. There were so many there today, right? You had the governor, you had every senator, you had the councilman, this, that, and the other thing. They knew nothing. They had nothing really to provide, but airtime, it's all about airtime. But seeing Pete and all those questions for Pete that he couldn't answer, and even if he could, he probably wouldn't, reminded me more about this guy's severe limitations. In the swamp, it masquerades as knowledge, but no, this is a handicap.
If an underpass was constructed such that a bus carrying mostly black and Puerto Rican kids to a beach, or it would have been, in New York was designed too low for it to pass by, that obviously reflects racism that went into those design choices. I don't think we have anything to lose by confronting that simple reality, and I think we have everything to gain by acknowledging it and then dealing with it, which is why the Reconnecting Communities, that $1 billion, is something we want to get to work right away.
Handing out billions of dollars to fix the racism in bridges. Now, I know what he's talking about. He's talking about a book that he read once, and that book said that the bridges are racist. The guy who wrote the book got it wrong. He's getting it wrong. But nobody in there in the swamp can actually say, well, they know anything about the book. They're just, ooh, Pete read the book. You see how it works? And oh, Pete's gay. Yeah, it's the optics of this guy that gives him the power and the clout. It's nice that he has kids. I guess it's nice that he worked out whatever, confusion he had, and he's living his true life now, right? But did they have to write 4,000 stories about his sexuality? This is how the mayor of what was it called? South Bend, Indiana. You don't make those guys Treasury secretaries. You don't make those guys transportation secretaries. You don't make them the winners of Iowa and New Hampshire in the 2020 campaign. But Secretary Pete has got the job, and he loves the perks. I noticed something about this picture of Pete in his office. That's not an airliner, that's Marine One, a helicopter that occasionally he gets to fly on. We don't. He's the Transportation Secretary. Don't you think a JetBlue airplane should be there? What else? That is a V-22 Osprey, another plane that most people can't fly unless you hang around the White House, right? They're all in it for this stuff, the power, the perks, and ultimately the money. Potholes, filling potholes in a small town. You can't just do the job and get a book and get a movie deal. Pete is 40 years old. He already wrote his own autobiography, and Amazon made a movie about the guy. You don't do that, but you don't get those things by working. You get them by being something that some people think is special. I think people should work. Unfortunately, in a way, the Kardashians are to blame. That and a million other things. These people, they don't sing, they don't dance, they don't whatever, but they're billionaires, and so many people want to be like them. Maximum pay, maximum recognition for minimal effort. And actually, in fairness, the Kardashians, they're just riding the wave. You know who we can really blame? The Obama.
I want to make sure that the world's wild spaces are there for my kids and my grandkids. Join me in this celebration of our planet's greatest national parks and wilderness. A journey through the natural wonders of our shared birthright.
Oh, brother. He got $60 million from Netflix for doing this thing that we already know about national parks, him walking on the beach. He did nothing of value before his presidency, nothing of value as president, and post-presidency, well, it is valuable. He's a billionaire now. And so is his wife, Michelle. Talk about cashing in. Watch.
Chefs, you have to learn about all kinds of different foods.
From the people who brought you Chef's Table, Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, and Ugly Delicious, come two new heroes of food.
Hi, I'm Waffles, and this is Mochi.
Well, hello, Waffles and Mochi. Are you ready for an amazing adventure?
You know, she's like an updated Mr. Rogers. It stinks. I've actually watched the show, but they just keep cashing in. It just kind of comes their way, and it's easy. It's been easy for them every step of the way. And that is a prime example for so many in politics, to the left, to the right. They just do it to get out of politics and make money. Take basically every person over there at MSNBC, okay? They all did a few minutes in politics and then got out to make 7 figures over at MSNBC, like Jen Psaki, like, Nicole Wallace. She's their version of a Republican. It goes on like this. They all worked in government, and now they got out of government to cash in. And when somebody who is somewhat loyal to Donald Trump tries to do it, stand by. Ronna McDaniel. I'm not the biggest fan. I don't trust her. But, you know, she's okay, right? I mean, she signed a deal over there at MSNBC. There are other places I would have preferred her work, but wow, did they let her have it.
This isn't about red versus blue. This is about truth versus lies. Service to the country versus service to one man committed to toppling our democratic system. That is the type of experience that Ronna McDaniel brings to the table.
We've also said to election deniers is not just they can do that on our airwaves, but that they can do that as one of us, as badge-carrying employees of NBC News, as paid contributors to our sacred airwaves.
Bad decisions will inevitably happen. Mistakes will be made. Take a minute. Acknowledge that maybe it wasn't the right call.
She's talking to her boss, and I think the boss said, it's okay. You guys can criticize me on this one.